Good morning. How is everyone? I think I start the video the same exact way every single time. Ridiculous. Okay, so today we're going to do this little flower here, and we're going to use the same stitch to do the leaves. So you can kind of see how they'll look a little bit the same, but a little bit different. And then there's also an option for you to add a little straight stitch of a different color inside the stitch that we're going to do. So you can get like a 2-color like thing going on. And it just gives it a little bit more like oomph. So I'm going to do yellow for, excuse me, I just chugged a glass of water. I'm going to do yellow for this one. And I'm going to use the same color for the leaves as I did for the stem. And then there's like a lighter color that we can kind of, put in there to zhuzh it up. So we'll see about this one. I'm not quite so sure about that, but I'm going to use this really nice yellow for these ones here. And we're going to use all 6 strands and the detached chain stitch. Okay, so it's just like a chain stitch, but they're not all attached together to make a chain. They're just one by themselves. So I'm just going to show you the detached chain stitch today. And I'm sure we'll do the chain stitch later. But I always like to bring up that it is like a pair, if you know what I mean. Like they are related. So let's get started. Okay. And we'll zoom in on this part because we're quite close to the edge here. All right. So what we're going to do is we're going to come up at the point here. They're almost going to be like little teardrop shapes or raindrop shapes. So we're going to come up down here all the way through all 6 strands, and you're going to make a loop like this. And you can come down right in the same hole or right next to it, but around this area. If you go through the same hole, you might go through the knot, which is not always a good idea because sometimes it can make your knot looser, or sometimes you can actually pull it through to the back. So we'll just see how it goes. But you're going to leave that loop there like this. Okay? And you're going to come up on the inside of that loop wherever you want your petal to kind of end, if that makes sense. So if you want a really, really big one and you want to come up all the way up here, then this is how long your petal is going to be. If you put it all the way down here, it's going to be really, really, really tiny. So wherever you want the very tip of your petal to be, that's where you're going to put your next stitch inside this loop. So as you can see, I've got just like maybe 6 or 7 or 8, I don't know, I didn't count them, little petals here. And I'm just going to come up at the tip of the first one, okay? So just pull that through. And I like to kind of pull this way, all right? If you pull too hard, you're gonna get straight up around your thread that we just put, through the hole, and straight down. So it's gonna look like this. But if you pull it a little bit more gently, you're gonna get a nice teardrop shape or raindrop shape, okay? Let's get that out of the way so you can see what I mean. So we're just going to pull it gently like that. Okay? You also don't want to pull too tight because it will pinch your fabric together and kind of squish it. You don't want to manipulate the fabric in any kind of way. So we've done our first one. So you're going to go down just on the other side of that thread. So you're just tacking that thread down to keep the shape like this. And then we're going to move to the next one. Another easy peasy stitch. We just want to make sure that the tension is not too tight, because as I said, it will we want to keep those like that. Now some people like to have the kind of, I'm not going to say hole in the middle, but a little space in the middle where you can see the fabric behind. Some people really like that. They like the kind of look of it. And some people don't. So if you are one of the people who don't, you can either do a straight stitch in the middle, And I'm going to show you how to do that as well. With the same color, it'll just make it all the same color, like more filled. Or you can use a contrasting color or a little bit darker color. So I'm not quite sure this one's going to work, like I said, because I kind of feel like maybe it's not enough of a contrast, but we'll see. And then we're just continuing that all the way through. All the way. I've got a bit of an easy day today. I feel like I say that every time too. So easy today. I was just playing with Jessie for a while. It's so hot. Oh. I was chasing her around the kitchen. And you can really see that as I'm using the 6 strands, they start to kind of come untwisted. And that's like a natural thing that happens with a lot of different threads. Some threads more than other ones, but there's nothing like to worry about necessarily. You just kind of want to keep them a little bit tidy. If they do start, you know, to come untwisted as you're working with them. Got the last one here. And mine kind of goes off the hoop a little bit, so I'm just gonna get it as close as I can. You can always put your needle in at an angle, because remember there is that wooden, the inside, the inner ring there. So if you kind of angle your needle in on the side, sometimes you can like really get in there. Oh. Okay, so I've got all my petals finished. Let's do a little knot on the back. And I'll show you, I'm gonna get a different color though, because I'm not keen on that color. I feel like it's not gonna have a big enough contrast in there. So it's gonna be like, what's the point of using a different color? You could just use the same color. And then you can see what it looks like to have the straight stitch on the inside as a different color. Might be a bit too dark, you know? This is not the time to be particular. Just pick a color and do it. I feel like you know though, a lot of people have messaged saying, oh, I'm just not so sure about the colors. Sometimes you hold it up and you're just like, nope, not that one. And you don't necessarily know why, but you just know you don't like that color. Does that make sense? That's a little bit better. So this was the color I previously chosen, and this is the color I'm gonna do. So, a bit different. Okay, let's get just a little bit of this one. So we're just gonna do a little straight stitch in this area here. And it's just gonna give a little bit of oomph to it. So I'm gonna go for all 6 strands again and just see what that looks like. So you can either start from the bottom where we did before, or you could start from the top where we ended. So let's see. Tighten that so it's not wiggly, and this is what I mean. Oh, oops. Okay, good. Perfect time to pop out. Just leave it. Okay, back in business. Okay, so this is what I mean by that. You can either start up here, and we're not going through the stitch, we're just going right below it. So some people find that a little bit difficult because they don't want to like manipulate the outside stitch, the detached chain stitch that we did earlier. They just want to add an extra stitch in. So sometimes you just need to find which one works better for you. So we'll start here like this, okay? And we're just gonna go down here, and it's just gonna give you that one straight stitch and make it look a little bit different. You do not have to add these if you do not want to. If you're like, nope, don't like that, don't do it then. It's okay. And then on the other hand, you could add more than one color. So, oops. So you could always do like this as a lighter color, and then you can add an even darker color with less strands to make a smaller little line in there. Like there's so much that you could do with this. Anything from like very, very simple to like, okay, I did it, to let's add more details, let's add more colors, let's add this, let's add that. Like there's so much. So there we've got that done. It looks like I've pulled a little bit of the tail through, so let's just fix that. There we go. So we'll zoom out and you can see what it looks like. There's what we've got. So obviously if you use the same color yellow, it will all be yellow instead of having the contrasting color in there. So it's up to you how you feel, how you want it to go, how you want it to look. That's like the best part about embroidery is like you can make it however you want. It doesn't have to be like any certain way, you know? So let's go back to the leaves because we're going to do the leaves this exact same way. I'm going to use 4 strands, so it's the same as the stem, maybe. I suppose I could just use all 6 and then I don't have to split it. 6 strands, so it's not the same, a little bit more bold. And we're going to do the exact same thing, except we're going to use the detached chain for leaves instead of petals. Y'all are quiet today. I am too, though. I feel like I'm out of breath from running around chasing Jessie. And then I said, okay, time to go to work. And she said, okay, bye. And she went upstairs. She's so funny. Okay, so if you want longer, skinnier kind of leaves, then use less strands and they become more delicate looking. I'm going to use all 6. And call it a day. And then I don't have to separate them. They can look a little bit thicker and lush. Hannah says, sorry, I really am tired today. Do you know what? I find that Wednesdays and Thursdays are always really quiet on here. Not just on the lives, but even like on Instagram, period. Like, I feel like people get that midweek slump. And then on Friday, they're like, yes, it's Friday. It's like the weekend. Like start making plans to do stuff. But I always find on Wednesdays and Thursdays, like just in general, people are a little bit more quiet. They're a little bit more like, oh, I can't do it. So try and beat that. I actually have my very last dentist appointment tomorrow. Ugh. Telling ya. And there is one little leaf here, and I think I'm gonna just leave that for right now because doing the detached chain stitch behind a flower is not very fun. But I think maybe we won't even need it. And it's also something that you can always add later if you're like, I think there needs to be some green up there. Thank you. I did them yesterday, and actually, it's got like a slight sparkle to it because I used to use the Dipwell dip powder, but I don't use it anymore because they don't ship to England. And I found a different one called Rossi Nails, and they do ship to England. So I've been using that, but this one's got like a slight, you can't really see. Yeah, like slight like sparkle. And whenever you dip your finger in, all the sparkle gets like all around. So you have to like really scrub them off, if you know what I mean. So normally when I do my nails, I save like my shower or something until afterwards so I can like really get in there, but I didn't. I got cleaned up earlier in the day and did my nails at night, so I figured they were very autumn appropriate, these. I love a little sparkle. Me too. They're quite fun. And like, I think the last 2 times that I did them, I just put like clear on them or like kind of simple, like a nude color. So it was fun to do something else. Okay. And whilst we're here with this color, we can also use the, I'm listening to a new lo-fi station today for the music, but I've never heard this before. So, gosh. Okay, so whilst we're here and we have the same color, because this has the same color on the bottom, we can fill that in too. I don't think I have enough thread here, but I'm going to try. And this right here, we'll use the same stitch, the angled satin stitch or the 3/4 stitch, okay, that we used here, but we have a little bit more. I'm going to use all 6 strands because I've just got it. You can go right up to it like this. And I like to start with a couple little like guideline stitches. And you can totally see that the area at the bottom here is way smaller than the area at the top. So you're going to have to hide some stitches. By not going all the way down. Okay, and we'll just continue doing that. I'm almost out here. I'm not gonna win thread chicken on this one. Hi, George. Jessie did wake up. We did some playing in the kitchen this morning, which is why I'm like, and so hot. And then she had a little nap, per usual. And now she's going back upstairs to go back to bed. So exciting morning for her. David took her for a walk this morning as well. So she's probably like, I'm tired. Okay, let's grab just a little bit more of this. So yeah, with this one, you've got a couple things that you have to decide for yourself. So obviously with not just the color, but kind of how much you want to add, if you want to add another color, if you want to add more details. I think that's quite nice because it makes it a little bit different than everybody else's. Do you know what I mean? So you can go back and put a little straight stitch in the middle of all of these leaves if you want to, like, you know, zhuzh it up a bit, which I might do. I might leave it till the end. The other thing that you can do is we normally have a details day, and sometimes we have a whole day for details day, and sometimes we just do it on the last day. It depends on, like, you know, how everything goes. I normally plan to have it be its own day so that we can kind of chat about what else you can do. But sometimes it just works out to be the very last day, and then we close the hoop up at the end. But sometimes it's nice if you kind of don't know what you want right now, meaning like, oh, I like the look of that, but I don't know if I want to do it on my own hoop. Then you can always save it for details day. And on your pattern, if you have it printed out still, or like in a little notebook or something like that, you can always put a little arrow over here, like add, you know, straight stitches for details, or add straight stitches for details here, or whatever. Add a third color in this one, like whatever you want to do, whatever ideas you have. You can always kind of jot them down as you're going along, instead of feeling a little bit overwhelmed at the end, thinking, oh gosh, I don't know what to do. It's details day, but I don't know what details to add. So that's nice sometimes. Oh, I think that looks really good. I like that. Okay. Do a little knot. I think I might add those whilst we're here, because we have time, so why not? Again, it's not a huge contrast, but sometimes that's all you need to just give a little oomph in there, you know? Oomph, oomph. And if you haven't got a lot of colors, you could do this with the same color as well. Or if you just don't like the look of two colors. I like to give options, okay? So this one's where I went just in the middle of the loop, and these ones here I went all the way down to the end. So it gives a bit of a different look. Kind of where you put your needle down. All little details, little things you can do. Where are you? There. I've got to pack up more advent calendar stuff today. And what else do I have to do? Start the October pattern so I can show it to you guys. I'm so excited for it. It's going to be so cute. And then I might do a little free Halloween or autumn pattern for the Facebook group. So if you're not in the Facebook group, get in there, because I always do some free patterns around this time. That looks nice. Okay. Let's zoom out and see how we've done. Surely it goes farther than that. Yeah, there we go. Oh, that looks good. Okay, so again, we have a lot of options with this one. I used 6 strands for everything. So we've got detached chain stitch here and here with a straight stitch in the middle. And then we did the fanned satin stitch, or the angled satin stitch, or the 3/4 satin stitch, whatever you want to call it, just to fill in this little triangle here to make it almost look like a bud there. Tomorrow we're going to do this one. So you need 2 colors for this one. You're going to need a fill color for the inside and then an optional outline color. So if you would like to do an outline for this, you need 2 colors. You could always do the outline in 1 color, meaning like the same color that you fill it in. But I always think it looks a little bit nicer if you choose a different color and have 2 colors. The other thing I was going to say is save all of your little scraps. So I've just got one of these. We bought these for David to take to work so he could put yogurts in them. Okay, so these are all the colors that I've used so far. And then all of these little things, this is the mess I've made today, all of these little clippings and cuttings and stuff where I cut maybe too much. Okay, I keep them all in the same jar. Nothing like this, because that's too small, you can't use it again. But I keep all of these in this little jar. And then when I need little short pieces of thread for details, I was going to say when I need details day. Yeah, when I need to add details anywhere, I can reach in the jar and pull one out and know that it fits my color scheme. So sometimes I see people, they add colors and they add colors and they add colors. And then on details day, they add more colors and more colors. And then they think, oh, I don't like it. It's too much. And I think, well, you could have used some of your scraps if you would have saved them. And you know exactly what colors that you've used as those details. And what I mean is that if I use the same color for the inside of this flower, it makes it look more cohesive than if I were to just grab a whole nother yellow or this color for the middle of the flower. Does that make sense? So I save all of them. Some people like to wind them back on the little pegs. So they'll take this one like this and they'll go, well, this one I can still use. And they'll wind it back up like that. But it's not for me. I don't like doing that. I just put them all in here. I sort them all out later. And actually, I'll show you how I sort them as well. I just sort them by color and I put them in the bags. So I've never thrown them away. So this is all of the greens that I have. And then when I make the little necklaces that I make sometimes around the holidays, I'll pull the colors out from here. Or if I have a really small hoop that I just need a little bit, then I can pull them out from there. And I do them by colors. So these are cool colors, which is green, purple, and blue. And yeah, so when I'm watching TV one night, I just separate all of them. So as you might have seen the other day, I showed you guys this, which is from the last 4 stitch-alongs. I'll separate all of these and put them all into the bags. And that way I can use them for other stuff and I don't throw them away. Please don't give them to the birds. Some people have been, there's always a thing that goes around in the spring about putting these outside for the birds and they look so pretty and they make their nests out of them and blah, blah, blah. Don't do it because they're cotton and cotton retains the moisture and they get moldy. So what happens is the birds use them in their nests and then they get a moldy nest and then they get sick and they can die from it. So please don't do that. The other thing is that they eat them. They can ingest them by accident. So they do look really pretty, but please keep them and try and use them for something. So yeah, another TED Talk. Oh gosh. All right. Well, that's it for me. Make sure that you are tagging me at the Barmy Fox and use the hashtag if you post it on your grid so we can all see all of your stitching so far. A lot of people have been posting in the group as well. And it's just so, so lovely. So please continue doing that because I genuinely love, love, love to see it. So yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Same place, same time. Here at 10 o'clock. I hope you have a lovely, lovely Wednesday. And yeah, bye.